ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Fellow commissioners, did everybody get a chance to read the minutes?
I didn't see any correction, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to abstain since I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right. Where did there it is. I had no additions or corrections. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
And I will second that. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Abstention.
Passed 2-0 with one abstention. Commissioner comments and committee reports. You were gone. You didn't have any meetings this.
No.
Do you have anything?
I had none.
I had a multi-county health meeting last night, which lasted a long time, till 10:30. We got out of there. One of the main things that we done is reviewed their multi-county health insurance policy from their health insurance plans, and we voted to change from Blue Cross Blue Shield to United. It was a little cheaper and felt it was better coverage, and the employees were all on board with that. Done a lot of looking at our chain of command in the health department too, on how complaints are to be held from the employees to the CEO, the CFO, and then to the board, how that structure is set up, and we wanted to review that. Done a lot of reviewing of everything from social media policies to grievance policies and everything else, so that was a long meeting. Everything is financially looks very good. Okay, new business before the board. Anything new?
The only thing I'd like to bring up, we talked about giving Jack all of Jeff's positions, and I think I made that motion. And then I made a motion maybe putting you on the ASF board, and the only reason why I did that, Jack, we need to be very conservative. I think we need to be fair, but we need to be conservative because I think they're asking for a lot. And I was going to nominate Eric, and Eric said, let's just keep it like it was, when I'm fine with that, and go from there. That's what that was about.
Okay. And I think that a whole group of people need to get together and hammer out what they want to be. There may be a whole different structure if they get together and hammer it out. So.
Okay. Old or unfinished business before the board. Anything?
Should we bring up about that, the minutes now? That should have been new business, or we want to wait and have a special thing?
Yeah, you could. You could if you.
Okay, I think it was in the minutes of last meeting that we had talked about the.
Get a copy of this, I think. Michelle, get a copy of this.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know whether I've done it in my copy. About putting a disclaimer onto the recorded county minutes to make sure that the public is aware that the written minutes, which are corrected and approved, are the official county minutes. So, do we need to vote on that as?
I think so. Yes, you don't need to. It doesn't need a resolution or anything, but just simply a direction.
See, I thought we'd have to have a resolution and not vote on it. But you're the legal counsel, so I'll go with what you said.
I think just simply your direction to IT to put that or a different disclaimer on there. That disclaimer that I drew up, and I didn't spend more than about 15 minutes on it, so if you have suggestions for improvement, you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
It looked good to me, short and sweet and to the
Mhm.
point.
Well, I would move that we attach a disclaimer reminding people that the video presentation of the meeting is not the official minutes of the meeting. And the official minutes of the meeting are approved by the board, and they become the official record going forward.
I'd second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion on this? If not, all in favor of approving that, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Seth, you want to come on up?
I just was here for the cold mill. If Pat had those agreements back.
Wasn't you gonna check with them and make sure that everything was bidding the same thing? Oh, you did that?
We
Okay.
did that.
Okay.
I sent a letter on June 2nd. I thought I emailed that to, that's the letter I sent to Capital Paving. They had requested just a couple of clarifications. When I did speak with Rusty Dutton, he asked to have a day to go over his math, and he did, and came back and said that they had done it, they had bid it correctly, and that they would do the project for the price that they had bid, $130,000, whatever, 132, whatever it was. He did want a couple things clarified, that the county wouldn't be right behind them doing our paving work because that slows down their trucks being able to get in and out. That he wanted to make sure we'd have flaggers there for longer than 8-hour days. And then he also said that they had a job fall through, and so they would actually like to get on the job right away instead of waiting for a later time period, which of course was what we had initially requested anyway. They had also told me that they would send me acceptance form that they use, and I did not get it. I emailed yesterday and didn't get a response, and I called this morning, and Dustin is gone till Thursday, and Rusty was gone to lunch, so I don't have anything in writing, but I think you can and should approve the award of the contract and authorize Seth to sign the agreement for the contract.
Seth, do you have
Mr.
anything?
Chairman.
Oh, do you have anything more to
I
add
don't.
to it?
I was on the phone with them too on a conference call, and everything seemed good. We, actually, I told them once they're ready to start, get in contact with me, and we'll work out the details on flaggers and all the other items we had discussed. So I'm good with it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the bid from Capital Paving. I don't recall the amount. It's in my other papers for whatever that bid was.
Done bid.
Second?
Yes. Oh, my computer's done now. It was,
Do we need to have the figures
Yes,
stated?
we
in-
do.
I
should have it here in a minute.
It was on my other minutes and I didn't bring it with me.
1,302, no,
Yeah, let's-
132,
I would accept that bid.
132,300.
Correct.
Yeah, second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0. Sorry about that.
did that also include giving Seth the authority to sign a contract on behalf of the county?
Yes.
I really didn't have anything. I'll be up here in the next week or so. We need to decide on a 2019 off-system bridge project that we can submit to the state and hopefully get chosen for this, or for the 2019 year. We were chosen for the 2018 year, and that is in the design phase right now. I'm currently working with our engineering firm that we've dealt with on finding a selection of bridges on what he would deem the worst shape on one of the more traveled roads, but still on a minor collector. But I'll bring that list to you, and we'll kind of have a discussion on that, and hopefully select one in the next week or two to send to the state. So,
Okay.
other than that, I don't have anything.
I had a complaint of, in the city of Lancaster, that there's a house that says that there's too small a tube that goes under the road and backs water into their basement. And I think you've been aware of it. I know it's Christian, it used to be Banks, and I don't know her married name, so that's,
The culvert I looked at, I went during a rainstorm, and I never saw any water backing up. So I'm not sure if I looked at the right one. I thought it's the only one I could think of that, and it's
I
clear
s-
as day.
the tube is clear. It looks like a old like gas pipe type
correct.
culvert.
So,
It's a foot diameter,
yeah, I'm not
and
sure how it's backing up because it's in a ditch line and everything. So
I don't know. I can't say as how much water comes down through it, if that has to be a finding on that. She said that I think Lancaster would be willing to buy the tube if we would put it in. So I don't know how the jurisdictions shake down and things like that. It is our road, but I don't know how long it's been that way. Evidently, it's been there for long. It looks like that tube's
yeah, it's
was an original one on that road. So that's right there south of where we changed or allowed Lancaster to change the speed limit on that road going into south side of Lancaster.
Yeah, 'cause Tim Callahan actually contacted me on that, and I went out and looked at it, and I really didn't see any problem with it. But like I said, I went during a rainstorm, but maybe it's one of those major rainstorms that it backs up. But it seemed to me like the houses were far enough away from the roadway, it shouldn't affect them. So
And it looked like there was enough height. I was looking for a house basically at the same level as the tube. I was surprised at but she said it was the basement, and I don't know anything more than that. I told her I would bring it up.
yeah,
So-
I'll look into it some more. I just
Okay.
being that far off the roadway, I just don't see how it's backing up into the house from the ditch line. But
We want to make sure that's the source.
correct. I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of times it's gutters on houses that have that major effect on flooding in the basement. So I'll hopefully get another big rain sometime and I can go out and recheck it. But
I was up here last week when he had a group of, I believe, 5, Mr. Ferguson, 2 or 3 Bouldridges, and I told him that Commissioner Byer was out of town and Commissioner Knoll couldn't attend because that would be a conflict, and that I represented that area. But on your side, they have some concerns at Sherman Road down there south of where the tavern used to be. It's like maybe 1.5 feet the highway, and then it just goes off. And if there's anything we could do so somebody doesn't drive off into the creek.
we're at now.
On Sherman Road, do you remember where you know where, what's his name? Lives down there, does the welding and stuff.
Correct.
South of there, the highway's real close to that creek, and it is about a 6, 8, 10 foot drop off there. I don't know if we could
Maybe
put
more of a guardrail type.
a guardrail type of thing or cables with some posts. I don't know, but I said I would bring it up to you.
Okay.
And then Greg Gehring, there's some road, but I thought it was on a township road, but he said it's a county road, that there's a big washout down there by Mr. Smith's place someplace. That would be just on up around the corner from where I'm talking about. That needs to have some rip wrap hauled to it.
Okay. I will look at that. I was just down there the other day and haven't seen
I don't know.
anything, so.
I don't know.
And that's on the paved road.
I don't know. They said down there, they said the road numbers, but didn't ring a bell. But Mr. Smith, up Mr. Smith's road. And if it was the Smiths out there on that road, that wouldn't be in Greg's Township. So it has to be,
I'll look for addresses around that south side, see if I can find.
well, Mr. Smith has passed away, and then his boys passed away, so I don't know whose name it is now.
Hmm.
There's a Baldridge that lives up on top of the hill, real close to the highway, just past where I was telling you about. You take a left and go up that rock road.
That would be a township.
Well, that's what I thought.
Rock roads that are.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Well, I'll-
He said there's a big washout.
Which one? Oh, I got Greg's, okay. I'll just call him, yeah, probably easier, have him mention mine.
Okay.
Alright.
We have it on here, discussion of the signs of the no hunting around the county lake.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, anything that further to discuss on that, or what do we need to?
I could not find any time where the commission voted to not have hunting out there. I remember when we were forming the rules for the county lake, that there was discussion about it, and then the state's prohibition against preventing concealed carry if you didn't provide adequate security was in play, and of course we couldn't provide that kind of security for the entire lake, so that was removed from those rules. So you could do whatever you want. You could allow it or not allow hunting there as you see fit, but I don't think there's currently a resolution in place or a policy
To prohibit
either way.
hunting, okay.
I think it specifically prohibited fur trapping.
Okay. What direction do we want to go? Do we want to allow hunting then, or waterfowl? Or do we, is there,
Doesn't bother
Any-
me either way. I mean, are we talking directly waterfowl, or are we talking all hunting of any sort?
well, it's the next question. Or do we want to?
I don't see where it would hurt to let them, but I can also see if we just say no hunting, might eliminate a lot of problems.
To actually make it a no hunting, do we need a resolution, or how, what is sufficient to declare that a no hunting area?
You know, I don't know the minimum. Certainly a resolution would do it. Probably, yeah, it's probably not necessary. You probably just could give the direction to Seth to put up or remove the signs, whichever way you decided to do it.
Then I'll put on the taxpayer's shoes, gonna say, I like to hunt, I pay my taxes, there's no fish in there, now you're not even gonna let me hunt.
Well, there's fishing there. We can fish there.
I know, but you won't catch nothing.
Well, that was the negative.
Some garter maybe.
That's not my kind of fishing.
I don't know,
Is it a good place to hunt?
I'd say
It would-
duck and geese would probably be a pretty good place, that larger water. amount
And
of
deer.
water.
I mean, as far as that goes. But my only concern with the hunting, I'm fine with them hunting, but being if it's a public area, is that an extra burden or for safety of the public? I mean, if you have somebody out there that's fishing and somebody's close by who's going to be doing duck hunting or shooting a deer, is that making a more of a problem?
My concern would be the rifle hunters.
Yeah.
Waterfowl wouldn't concern me as much as a rifle, especially with the campgrounds all the way around that lake. I don't, you don't know where people are actually camping when you're shooting the timber somewhere.
Kids might be wandering off in the brush
I
or.
mean, I think you can make some hiking trails through there and everything else, so that'd be my only concern about a rifle, but waterfowl wouldn't bother me one bit. I mean, there is a little concern, but more times than not, they're not shooting directly into the timber line, they're shooting in the air to,
Mm-hmm. Jack, do you have any opinion on it?
It sounds simple, but it also sounds complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to bow hunt, I mean, you know,
Yeah, it starts one
Yeah,
thing leads into
exactly.
the next,
Yeah.
and I think Bill's right to the point where if you just said no hunting, period, it would almost cover more bases with a simple.
You're gonna make a few people mad, but then again, who knows, you may have saved someone's life down the road. You never know. There's somebody getting hurt.
I guess right now I would lean towards just say no hunting, period, and then that would cover everything. And it's, I guess it could always be revisited at a later date, but
the no hunting sites have been there for a while.
they've been there quite a while. I think, from what I heard, she had a complaint that the signs were up, but they understood that there really was no prohibition against people hunting. So if they actually would be legal to hunt, and they got pulled over by a game warden, there's no hunting signs there, and so there's a discrepancy on what the rule is and what the signage is. So I guess we need to probably would lean towards drawing up a resolution to make it a no hunting area. And we can act on that at a later date then.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess that's all.
Thank you. And then, are they gonna contact you with that contract?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Seth, or Connie, come on up.
I just need to pop over and have you guys sign these. These have to do with the banking for getting Michelle and I added to the banking with Exchange. They just wanted that as a formality to have you guys sign off on those.
That banking will be at your discretion, but that's what, shortly after the first year when we reorganize, Pat?
Yes.
This is for the Exchange Bank to hold the checking account and put me as the administrator on that account. And-
But you will make that call later on.
Yeah, we'll
If you
make
stay
that
there, that's
designation.
fine, or if you want to change, that's your call.
Yeah, when we make those designations in January.
I kind of missed that. What were they? What was that last part about? The
Oh, we just mentioned the reorganization meeting
Oh.
designation.
The banks are at the treasurer's discretion. I gotta sign that first one.
Yeah. You were here a couple weeks ago when we had the gentleman talking about the investments of county funds. When would something like that, I know you're busy right now, but just when would a guy be looking at maybe doing that, or?
Well, there's a set, there's different CDs and money markets and everything right now, and so those all mature at different times.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will, just keep
Start.
an eye on those, and maybe we can start looking at investing in a different way when some of those come mature, so.
It made perfectly good sense to me what that gentleman was saying.
I was wondering if anybody had actually kind of just done a projection of what that could possibly bring the county in, like just like an average rate on the, maybe like the average daily funds that we've had available. If anybody's actually tried to extrapolate out anything.
That's been put together in a database or
How much
anything.
cash
so-
you usually have overnight? That's the key.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because one of those is just a 24-hour, I mean, you can even put it in there for 24 hours. So.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know
Well,
if
yeah,
you,
the rate was like 3 times what we're getting now, so.
Yeah.
yeah. And,
Yeah, they said it was secured, so.
yeah, I thought that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to explore that and take a look at those as some of those come as they mature. So
Okay.
we've had a couple that just came up, and I didn't feel prepared to make any changes with those. So we've continued on with new rolled those over. So-
I don't know if there's anything, a database or anything, because I'm sure that there is a huge demand time on funds. And then there's big times when we've got a lot of cash on hand, and if you could access that, so you would know, okay, well, we've got a big demand within the next couple of weeks, maybe we won't put as much in, kind of do that.
Right, and it's how our money is used, and you would need to do two parallel sheets. Where do we need our money? When do we need our money?
Mhm.
And when are the interest rates the greatest? Where can we spare? Obviously, right now it's up because we had our May 10th deadline for the second half of property taxes. So got a
Mhm.
lot of money. Right.
I wonder if we can get more interest on some money that, let's say we wouldn't have to need it, kind of
Right.
maybe 3 months, put it in there, but I wouldn't want to go too long because we may have to pull out of it, but we may get a better interest rate.
And
We
I'd
want to
like
have some available just like
I'd like to
that,
start with some of the short-term ones and just see how it goes.
see how it goes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like some of those, like the overnight ones and shorter length of time, so. That's on the list.
Okay.
Okay. We'll get this to the bank then when it comes. Stamp it and.
Notarize it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bring it over as soon as we can. That's all that I needed. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, sailing right through this. Something that was brought to my attention by Michelle is the first meeting in July is on the 4th of July, which is a holiday. We need to set a different date for that meeting. Either the 3rd or the 5th probably would be the best date. I don't know. Probably wouldn't make me any difference.
I'm gonna be gone that week, for sure, so.
Do you have a preferable date, Pat?
I don't have anything scheduled either.
There's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of department heads and stuff gone that week. Do we just cancel it for a week, or?
You could, yeah.
Does it, I mean, I don't know if it causes a problem.
How are we going to do signing off on payroll and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
I hate to or completely sign off on a meeting.
Payroll's at June 30th?
Well, it's every 2 weeks, so.
I'm not
Sure, it happened on the 2nd, 16th, and 30th. So it wouldn't happen during that July, that week, would it?
The 30th.
So there's not a payroll that needs to be signed off that week. I would guess that there are a lot of people that are gonna take off on the 3rd to take kind of a 4-day weekend, so I'd probably suggest if you're going to have it the 5th, but
Jack's going to be gone.
I gotta tell you, I have to be in Chicago at a meeting on Tuesday the 27th. And I mean, I don't know if we ever move the meetings and if it's a reasonable meeting.
Oh, the week before that. We could
Yeah.
change that.
He's
I
got
mean,
to be
I could be here on
gone.
the 28th, no problem.
Oh, I thought
Or
you said
what-
you can go on
The
20.
Are you gonna-
27th, I gotta be in Chicago on the 27th for a meeting.
So you're gonna be gone, you're not available the 26th either?
No.
Okay. Well, that would throw that a day later.
And maybe we could pick up more business that way. So maybe next week, I don't know.
Well, let's definitely go ahead and move that one to Wednesday, the 28th.
I know that'll be published, what the rules are.
Is there anything
Well,
about
then
having
why
two
don't we
meetings in
just
1
move
month?
the July 5th,
Two
that
monthly
meeting to
meetings
the
in 1
5th,
month?
and keep it on,
you
and
mean
we
2
could
special meetings?
No.
always cancel it,
We
but
got our meeting
I hate
today,
during budget
which is
season and
the
everything to
6th.
be,
Then
you know,
we
we're
have
talking
one
about 2
the
weeks in
28th.
between,
For
so,
the July,
Yeah.
we're going to be having 2 monthly
So we
meetings
move the
in
June
1
meeting to
month.
the 28th.
yeah,
And the
June
July
5th.
I don't know.
would it be the 5th?
We're meeting today, June
Right.
6th.
Right.
They're wanting to have the July meeting June the 28th. So we're going to have 2 monthly meetings in 1 month. Is there any?
I don't
No.
see a problem with that, no.
That's, I think what was said is the 27th meeting, get moved to the 28th.
Gonna move yeah. He's gonna be gone here, so we're gonna move this meeting to
28th,
I said, yes.
and
what
then
was I
July
thinking?
5th.
For the normal week meeting that week.
Well, those two back-to-back meetings will be on Wednesday.
Well, so we're gonna have a meeting, okay, our 27th meeting's gonna be the 28th.
Yeah.
We should have a lot more budgets.
Well, that's what, I hate to not have a meeting, even if we have a short meeting.
What if we
on-
call the 28th a budget meeting?
Well,
We could
it'll still
sit-
be 2 weeks in before
Huh?
you meet again, so I hate to completely take off a week.
June the 28th meeting?
June 28th and then July 5th.
Maybe Michelle might check to see if anybody gonna be here on the 10th.
And I guess if there's,
I think a lot of them will be here the 5th, but there's, like Matt said, there's gonna be some that are gonna take off on the 3rd.
yeah,
Well, that's what I would do.
times will be the same as normal as far as okay, county councilor update.
All right, we talked about the appointing an appraiser. I prepared a resolution, emailed it to Michelle yesterday for you to consider next week, I guess, on, to appoint Michelle, Melissa Crane. Did you get that yesterday? Yeah. It just needs to be acted on by the end of the month. But I think you probably want to put it on the agenda and take it up next week. This is unrelated to the phone call that I stepped out of the meeting earlier to take, but
Can you sign this?
back in March,
Okay, it's on next week.
the Carrot Board had approved changes to the trust agreement, basically had gone through and updated things, and we dutifully signed it, Eric dutifully signed it, and presented it to, took it to the meeting that we had right afterwards. I got a call that we signed on the wrong line, so they wanted us to redo it, so just to get your signature again.
Okay.
This is what they proposed back. So if you date here and then sign next to your printed name, not on this line up here, but on that line.
Slide here.
We had some talk, the next topic, ASAF, or the bonding for the sports complexes. That was redone in November, as you know. I did get some reports and kind of made up. It looks like we're bringing in somewhere around 40,000 or 45,000 a month. On that, I guess the average is 43,000. The monthly payment on the bonds is $35,501.63. So typically there's $7,586.13 left over, if you will. Now there's still trustees' fees that need to be paid out of that, but those are relatively small. So that suggests that every quarter you would have enough that you could, if you wanted to, make that $12,500 distribution for the maintenance. That there's more money coming in than is necessary on the bond right now, and that only goes back to this year because we refinanced it in November. So.
Okay, so those figures changed. There hasn't been that money extra because, well, it was paying a higher rate. So that since November, now this is the new norm, that there's about that much per month coming in.
That's what it looks like to me, yeah.
And there's about a 3% improvement in sales tax collection year over year. So it's
Mhm.
they're getting more sales tax collected.
Okay. So that'd be, if you said 7,000 a month, that'd be 70.
50,000 a year. He said 12,000 something a quarter.
Well, you're making payments now of, isn't it 12.5 per quarter? 40,000 a year to ASAF and
10 to
10 to
Effingham, so, okay.
So wasn't there some talk about building a fund back up again too? Or
The 300,000, that's
what the trust documents call for.
That's required, isn't it?
Well, yes.
That's the minimum we gotta have set
didn't-
aside.
I didn't go back and look through every month from the beginning because they don't come in a spreadsheet. They come in one piece of information on this per page for each month. So
Well-
I don't think they've been doing that, though.
it don't require that we build that back to 300,000. It just requires that we keep back enough for the next year's payment, correct?
Well, first, to cover the payments for the next year, and then second, to build up the management and operating reserve fund. And then if there's anything left over after that, it goes into a redemption fund to pay off the bonds early.
Okay. Well, I don't think we'll get to that point, but
well, we could get lucky. So. So we give the money
Take a
to
look.
AFAS, and then they give it to somebody else.
to the rec.
So just a pass through, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
okay.
There was hurdles, I guess, at the time of the conception of the idea that they needed to create the ASAF to step
I hope
around
we-
some
Yeah.
legalese or something.
I think we should relook at that whole structure. I mean, some of it doesn't make sense to me. We have a group here that doesn't seem to do anything but pass money through. But have a meeting about it every couple of months. But
Well, and I think a lot of the stuff that was talked about originally, I mean, the commissioners weren't getting the financial statements, or, I mean, it's just kind of so many vague things that are going on. There's,
and actually, the recreation's taking the money and running with it, but they're a government entity of the school district.
yeah, there's so many different layers of this, and it don't seem like there's any clear, concise plan for.
There may be another entity out there to look at too, the Y or something like that.
It's been suggested, and maybe after we get through the budget season, because we're going to be busy to then actually call a meeting with all the stakeholders.
I think it's a great idea. I agree with you, that it should be after the budget.
Yeah, there's just going to be too much going
There's
on.
two ways of thinking, in my opinion. You can take that savings and apply it towards maintenance, which will come up with that fund, or you could take that savings, pay for the facility off earlier, selling it for $1, and then we're done with maintenance and everything.
Well, the problem will be after 2018 that there will be no money for maintenance, because those funds will run out completely, and that's what, if we have that, we can continue the maintenance at the current level. And because we're gonna be paying off the budget, the bonds until 2026, but next year, the maintenance stops. So there's gonna be a big gap in there of either they're gonna have to raise a lot of money, or we are gonna be pulling money out of the general fund to
I thought that's how we did it now. We pulled the maintenance money out of county general.
No, the monies that we are giving them is coming from the quarter-cent sales tax. That's the,
I thought we was to get the quarter-cent sales tax till the facility was paid off. Because
it's being collected, and the quarter-cent sales tax, there's so much is paying the bonds off, and then what's left over has been paying the maintenance. But then the maintenance fund was going to quit in 2018, next year. And now, with the refinancing it, we're gonna have more money coming in. That money can be used to go from 2018 till the end of the bonds. Am I correct in that?
Yes, you have
Through the
to,
reserve fund.
Yeah, through, so we're not gonna have to pull out of the general fund to maintain
The
the maintenance funds. And then there'll be a different story when the bonds are finally paid off, and maybe if there's more money coming in, we can still pay some off early if there's some beyond the maintenance contracts or agreements. We can pay them off early, and then we'll have to figure out where it goes from that point on, but that will be quite a ways down the line. I think they suggested selling the sports complex to the rec commission for $1 or something like that.
Just didn't get this warm and fuzzy feeling that they were pushing it to its best potential.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay.
yeah. I
That was my concern, and I don't want to, you know,
I thought at the time when he said that, I mean, yeah, it would be nice maybe for us to not be involved with it at that point and sell it to them for $1, but right now they're getting money given to them for maintenance. Well, if it was theirs, how would they be able to finance it without that $40,000? I mean, it didn't make sense as they were, you know, it's another thing we need to talk about and iron out. So
and this thing doesn't pay off for another 10 years or 8 years.
the
When does it pay off, Pat?
2026, I believe.
Yeah, we probably will be making that decision.
Yeah. But it's a way that I was grateful for that this refinancing is going to give us that option of
Gives us a lot
the extending the maintenance at the current level. Of course, they are wanting a higher level of maintenance fund. So that's another totally another question that I know that they're going to want more than the 40,000.
One question I had, they was given permission to get a mill for 409. That seems like that would take care of the maintenance. So are they collecting from two different hands?
Well, yeah.
And we could keep our maintenance money to pay it off early.
Was the mill for the sports complex?
They have they received the authority to raise it a mill.
1 mill.
Have they raised it, or?
They haven't
They-
yet,
they haven't
as
yet.
far as I know, but they were, well, you know, if somebody says you got another mill here, you know you're gonna take it.
Well, I look at it two different ways. Maybe they have the authority. Maybe if they thought we weren't going to be able to have that maintenance fund, like it's going to end next year. Maybe they wanted that authority to make up that difference through that mill. So that's something that we don't know for sure what's going on, or it's another shady gray area that needs to be talked about.
And the fact that we found a way to get their maintenance, they may never ask for that 1 mill.
Right.
So we'll really
I'll
won't
give them the
know.
benefit of the doubt that that's probably,
What
of
they-
course, they were assuming, and I think they still assume that there won't be any maintenance after 2018 from
I
the
think
quarter cent sales tax.
That was a surprise to them. The money would continue to
Hmm.
the end of the bond, I think.
Yeah.
Was a surprise. A good surprise, Bill. But
a good surprise. It doesn't automatically. You have to authorize it every quarter.
Hmm.
So they would have to have their budget to the clerk certified to you by August 25th. So you'll know then whether or not they're going to levy a mill or not. So So you'll have, I don't know if we made the distribution for the second quarter?
I believe so.
For the
Yeah,
second
that's-
quarter we
Yes,
had?
yes, we did great.
We held it off a couple of weeks, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
issued. It was issued.
The
So-
next one's July.
After they were here at that meeting, we authorized it later that day.
Yes.
To go ahead and pay that.
So they'll be back up, and I guess you could get it hammered out then.
The information you just gave us on that, is there any way you could send it to
Yes?
their committee, and so they could see that, and,
You say to the committee.
well, to the ASAF board?
Give Jack a copy and he could present it to him.
Yeah.
I don't,
But I don't think
Other
they
than
meet
Jack.
very often.
I think, yes, they need to.
It'd be Mr. Ball, Derek Franklin, Jack,
And I think a lot of the,
Scott Erickson, I believe.
well, I think for some reason the athletic directors from Moore Hill, maybe the high school, maybe
Mhm.
Benedictine also involved in the committee.
And I don't know when they're meeting next or whatever, but if they have,
Doesn't sound like they meet very often.
no. If they could have that, so they could look it over, and then that way they would kind of know what to expect as maybe they're developing their budget right now. Right now, if they don't think they're going to get it, they may schedule in that mill thinking they're not going to get it. So if they are aware,
anyone other than Ron Wall and Derek and of course the commissioners, that you want that sent to?
I think that's getting it. I mean, they can present it to the rest of the board, ASA board.
Yeah, I think that's plenty.
Okay.
And
Is
Jack,
that all on that topic?
Hmm?
Is that all on that topic? Is
Yeah, I
there
think
any
so.
discussion? We had some discussion also about the need to appoint a county surveyor. And because Dave Clark of Clark Land Surveying passed away. And we're required to have a county surveyor to review plats and surveys that are filed with the Register of Deeds. By statute, those have to be reviewed. And the Register of Deeds and the appraiser's office recommended Sarah, what's her last name? Sarah Bay. Anyway, she worked with Dave Clark at Clark Land Surveying to appoint her as the county surveyor. I contacted her about getting her contact info exact to put on a new resolution to appoint her, and discovered in speaking with her that she is the sole shareholder, sole owner of Clark Land Surveying PA, which is who has been appointed as the county surveyor to now.
wasn't she gonna change the name?
She didn't sound like she intended to right away, and she hasn't yet. So I just wanted to explain to you that why I didn't prepare a resolution, because one's not necessary, because we have already appointed the person that was picked as the county surveyor. And that may change, and if she changes corporate entities or something like that, we'll bring another resolution back. Well, I looked up, December 1st, 2026 is the last payment on the bonds. Plan.
26 instead of 28,
Hmm?
26 instead, that's better yet, well, still. a long time.
2026, that's what I
Still a
said,
long time
2026.
December 1, 2026 is the last payment that's scheduled. And that is all that I have.
Okay.
I have a question for Pat. What about the wind property tax sale?
I submitted, actually this morning, an order for the sale. I'll walk upstairs and see if the judge has signed it, but looks like it would be July. I hadn't talked to Jack about it, but I was thinking just having it on a regular Friday at 10 when you have your ordinary sheriff sales. Does that sound
Just one
reasonable?
property?
Just one property. So
Do you want to try to sell the ones we didn't sell, or?
I don't think we're allowed to.
Okay.
6 months after the sale, we can have another sale, or we can offer them for sale at, by contract, or by, people can make offers to us to purchase them. But a second sale isn't authorized under the statute, but we can for the wind property. So,
Okay. Jack, you got something for us, or?
First, just wanted to get a little, I'll give you a heads up. Kim Pruitt, she's gonna be on medical leave for a little while, so, after today. And so as far as our joint communication budget, the board's gonna have to handle that, I guess, but we had a meeting the other day, and there was some medical calls down south, so it was just Mike Wilson and I that were there. And, well, Charlie Purdue was there as well, but, Kim, as far as the board members, Kim was also there. The issue that we have right now, and I haven't ran it across, Trey yet, is the same one we discussed last year about the, phone system, the 911 system. And where the city had ended up giving us, an extra $30,000 to put in a, capital improvement fund to carry over until we upgrade our 911 system. And for next gen 911 basically, well, when we would, if you remember the bids we got from Comenco, however we call it, and then we got one from the state. Those are the only two that we could find at the time to give us bids. There's been a third one that's given us some notice that they want to give a bid now. So they're going to come up, but they're at some conference this week or something. So they're hoping to get it here in the next couple of weeks to get us a bid. However, when we decided last year not to move forward or try to move forward with the phone system, we did not realize and were not notified by AT&T that they were going to continue a maintenance fee on the old system that's basically sunsetted, and it's $12,000 a year. So, and we have to pay that. It's a maintenance fee technically, but there's no maintenance. So, to continue our 911 service, we either pay the $12,000, and if something goes down, they try to find a part, which they're out there. They're probably going to be expensive, So, how often does that happen? Very, very rarely does it happen, but probably don't want to be in. My issue with it is we're putting $12,000 into something that's not doing us any good, and the original bids that we had received, if you remember, the third party was $150,000 approximately, and the state contract or the state system was $54,600 for a 5-year payment, and so it was almost another $150,000 total, or $100,000 total. So being that they were the only two out there at the time, we kind of decided, it's best just to wait and see what else comes up, because next gen is pretty new still, and still is, and they're still going to have it all worked out with everything that they want to do. So what we discussed in the meeting was to have this other company give another bid. It's getting kind of down to crunch time for the city's budget, I think. So we need to get something to them and maybe discuss with them about the same issue. But I don't know what we have available for capital improvement for with the sales tax money, if any at all. So, and we need to probably have another meeting and have Trey there and whoever else can be there, but to discuss this, what monies are available to get the system, either whether we want to spend the $12,000 next year and then worry about it the following year, or go ahead and try to. Now, Kim did mention to me that this vendor is going to offer us a new bid. There's, hard to believe, but they said $2,500 shipping difference, and probably approximately 3% total increase on it. But they will also offer us a lease purchase type thing, like the state did. Problem with the state, what the state has is they want you to pay for stuff we don't need, that we already have brand new with the upgrade that we got. So the mapping is one of their things, and the recorder, which we have our own mapping, and the brand new recorder we just got with the dispatch center. So the problem with their mapping is they don't let us customize it, and we're more capable, with the help of Roger too, is to put locations of fire hydrants for the city, put locations of, we've lost some addresses on the county that are not really that address, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't give a good description of where that house is really located at. So we're able to put in our own notes and things in there, where the state system doesn't allow you to do any of that. So we don't think it's in the best interest to have something we can't customize for our own county. So, however, they say they have some new features, and then they give us another bid as well. It's basically AT&T is their contractor, and they're gonna give us another bid as well. But these are the ballpark figures. Whether they come back with a more realistic bid compared to what these third parties are offering, I don't know. But we may not know for another few weeks. But it would be nice to be able to just make payments if we, have the sales tax money each year for that. But can we justify another $100,000 just for that? Seems like a lot of money.
Is there any maintenance fee to this third?
There will always be maintenance fees.
There's always be maintenance.
Yeah, but it's something that we already, typically pay now. So this one here is for all three positions. First year, there's no maintenance, and so 2 through 5 is $38,000. That's included in their $150,000 price. So I don't know. And then $54,000 would cover their maintenance as well.
There would be no way of knowing beyond the scope of was it like 5 years, or is that what?
5 years for the Kansas one.
Okay, or the other
Well,
one?
5 years. Technically, this is for 5 years. The $150,000 is for 5 years on this one, but it covers 5 years. One down payment, it's covered for 5 years.
There's no way of knowing year 6, 7, and 8 what kind of maintenance fee or anything that they have, or
There's
do
no
they
way
have
of knowing
projections?
because we don't even know what the technology's going to bring.
All right.
And that's one of the biggest problems now with, some are using the next gen 911 system and it's failing, so it's text to 911 is what, which is a bad idea. But, there could be situations it's a good idea.
KAC conference, I've heard quite a bit about people installing it and having problems.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a proven enough technology, really, or the system isn't up to snuff to do everything that it says it's going to do.
Yeah, there's a few states that have gone statewide, so the state controlled it. In every city and county, everything went along with it. I think Michigan was one of them, and it worked out real well for them because everybody was on the same page. But this, from what I understood, I'm not part of the PSAP conferences or anything, but they made it sound like that's what their intentions were, and it didn't just dragging their feet. And then everybody's got in a situation like we got into with the equipment sunsetting, and now we don't know what to do. So they just went with whoever. A lot of them go with the Kansas, have gone with Kansas because they've been paying it. They were able to make payments rather than making a big payment. But,
So is that 150 per year or over 5 years?
no, that's for the 5 years.
By 5 years.
It's
Looks like to me that you need to get to talk with the city and see what they're willing to do, and then that would give us direction ahead, I would think. I don't know.
I was just got these from Kim yesterday. I was gonna run by Trey and see what, if they were able to offer us any assistance with the sales tax money first, and then,
I
But if
think
not,
with-
this wouldn't be under the tax lid, would it?
Well, but this is from there should be money from the sales tax, because see, the county no longer is taking, we had 200,000 that was going into the general fund and we put it back in there. So I would think that there would be funds available from the 1 cent sales tax.
from what I understand from our discussions, I think it was towards the end of last year that there was gonna be a little bit of surplus in from solid waste budget. I don't know if that's something that's planned to be used next year though, so I don't wanna.
But I think there was basically unpledged or unbudgeted money sitting there. I believe that when sales tax is bringing in X amount of dollars and the two budgets don't use that 100%. So, but there was basically a savings account beyond that.
Joint communications budget very rarely has anything, if much at all. Now, if last year there should have been that $30,000 carryover, and there was a mistake made somewhere, and it was taken out of the general, or out of the part of her budget, actual communications budget, rather than put into her into the capital improvement fund to be able to carry over, because that's what the
So
city had agreed on doing, to try to, because we were thinking like a 3-year, 4-year plan of doing this until we
Mhm.
figured out, well, they're gonna give us 30,000, well, might as well just take 12 off of that, because we're not gonna have that money now, all the money that we thought we were gonna have.
has that been rectified? I mean, on that where you said that
No.
from joint communications?
No, it's still gonna be short. Yes, Jamie's fixed that, I believe, and then,
Okay.
but the 30,000 is not there. It's short.
Will it be short to 12.5 or the?
No, because we were budgeted for that 12.5 already but we thought the maintenance, or we didn't realize that the sunset was gonna happen that quick.
Right, I'm saying, but the 30,000 basically funded part, or the maintenance then that you didn't realize was taken all the way from the 30,000?
No,
I guess I'm having a hard time,
Yes.
what happened to the 30?
The 30,000 was supposed to be sitting there in an account.
Right.
For this project. Her budget was shorted, I think it was like 27,000, something to that effect, because of that money sitting in there. There was just confusion on why that money was still in there.
Okay,
And, or the CSE automatically populated that, I don't know. I don't know how it worked, but she and Jamie have been trying to get it worked out, so.
okay.
But question, I mean, that's the question, if I go to the city and ask them, what they can do to help us out, they're probably gonna ask what we have available surplus, so.
Okay, I'll have to get with treasurer and see if there's money in that.
Yeah, I don't know, I know like I said, the joint communications part, I don't think had anything left over at the end of the year, any incoming balance, but the solid waste was supposed to, so.
Well, this wouldn't really show up in either one of their budgets because this is money collected, but it wasn't allocated. So that's what we'll have to look at. There should be, because, see, we corrected that in our budget, was it last year, that we were no longer going to take that money left over and put it in the general fund. So there was quite a chunk went in there just from this 1 year that should be in that savings account. But I don't know what that would amount to right now.
Right. But I don't want to bring it to your attention.
Okay, I'll see if I can get those figures
We
for you.
probably should have something for you next week, an answer from the city.
Are there, the tax, the wireless
911 funds.
911 funds, this sounds like exactly what those funds are made for, or designated for, isn't it?
Partially.
And is there any money in there?
There is a decent amount, but we use about 100,000 of that a year, and it takes a year to replenish it, so it doesn't ever necessarily grow.
Okay.
And we used a good chunk of it for the upgrade of the dispatch center, or the move, or whatever.
So you're on it, so, okay. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can use it to a certain point, but we have to make sure, we could probably use some of those funds for this project, but we would have to make sure that we had enough in there in case of the, oh crap, on the, you know. So, because there is things that she uses that money for throughout the year.
Okay. Are we going into executive session or?
I think we probably ought to on that, for security purposes.
I got something that I want to add to it.
Probably two different things, but that kind of like probably. things go through.
Well, that's a different exception.
I need about a 10-minute, 15-minute on this side. Personal matters, non-elected official. Then I don't know what Jack needs.
Longer than that.
Yeah, I guess yours would add
Don't we
to
have
that.
to,
Yeah.
if we've got two different subjects, we have to come out and then go back in? Yeah.
Yes. All right, I have it. It's, KSA 75-4319, B, subsection 13. Matters relating to security measures. If the discussion of such matters at an open meeting would jeopardize such security measures that protect a public body or agency, public building or facility, or the information system of a public body or agency.
Do I hear a motion to go in executive session for said reason?
I so moved.
You need to have your length and when you'll come out and where.
Okay.
Also added to that.
This was, do you want to, you move it or?
You want me to read all this?
Yeah.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners recede into executive session at 2:04 p.m. to discuss personal matters of the non-elected personnel as allowed by KSA 75-4319B1, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect the privacy rights of the employee, and that the board come out of executive session at, what do you think, 30:45?
35 should be plenty.
All right, we'll come out at
2:35?
2:40
Bill, you just
PM
said
at the commission.
204. I think you meant 209.
We're going in at 2:09.
2:09, excuse me, 2:09, yeah, you're right, 2:09. And we'd come
2:40.
session at 2:40 PM at the Commissioners' Room, first floor courthouse. Those present will be County Commissioners, County Counselor, and Jack Laurie, our County Sheriff.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Pass 3-0.
Okay,
Your
strike that.
executive session just expires.
Okay,
You should stay.
Okay,
so
so,
the film's on, we're back in.
and we are going back into another one, set?
No action taken, correct?
Hmm?
Correct.
No action taken.
Yeah. So we need the wording for our next executive session. I think I put it back over there. Oh, right here?
I got my little 2 minutes in, so unless you have something else.
Yeah, we got
So
Okay.
how long do we want to do on this one?
15 minutes.
I move that we recess into executive session at 2:45 p.m. for the discussion concerning matters related to security measure as allowed by KSA 75-431B 13, and purpose of closed session is because of discussion of such matters at an opening meeting would jeopardize such security measures that protect public body and agency, public building or facilities, or the information system of the public body or agency. And the board will come out of executive session at 3 p.m. in the Commissioner room, first floor courthouse. And those present will be the County Commissioner, Sheriff Jack Laurie, County Councilor Pat Henderson, and Commissioners. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to go in executive session. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passed 3-0.
Michelle,
I
I
guess you should
would,
have called for the vote.
Michelle,
That's all right.
I would like for you to get a
You're not gonna
message
step
to
on my
Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be open to discussion more further.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
3 o'clock, we're back in open session. No action taken.
Good night, evening.
Okay, you too. Done with the executive. Anything else? Or we have any notices, communications? I guess, do I hear a motion to adjourn? And
I have one other thing, and I don't think it's necessary. We currently have 5 employees at Road and Bridge since Seth started, and I was told after next Friday we will have 2 remaining. And they don't know how long those 2 will stay.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn at 3:02?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.